One of the things you actually had a post about the other day was around Netflix and particularly its approach to boxing. Obviously, it's had some of the Jake Paul fights on there, but now it's been announced that they're going to have the next Canelo Terrence Crawford fight on Netflix, which is, it's just a new approach, Nick. For so long, boxing has always seemed to be centered around the pay-per-view model. But what do you take from this in terms of just the challenge to the established system?
Well, I just think anything that Netflix does now, because of the scale they have, is just instantly in a place where it could disrupt the entire ecosystem. I think this is one of those examples, right? The fact that they're not adding that pay-per-view layer here, you're going from fights that are being watched by such a niche group of audiences because it's either people who are willing to pay $100, $100 for a fight night. You have to be committed to that. And now we're just saying, actually, for anyone who's a subscriber, you can watch this for free. And we know that what we've seen is a trend over the last couple of years, really, in terms of sports consumption. It is all about personalities and the athletes and those brands and audiences they already have. And boxing is as synonymous with that as anyone else because of the one-on-one, I guess the raw nature of boxing basically being quite primal in a sense. It's man against man or woman against woman, and best one who walks out of the ring wins kind of thing. And that type of content is basic in its format, is actually quite low to produce and broadcast. But we saw what happens when it's marketed well. It can get insane audiences through the Paul and Tyson fight that happened last year at some stage. So this is huge. This is really one of those things that I think does have the ability to completely disrupt the ecosystem because of the fact you are moving away from basically the only core monetization approach, which was pay-per-view, and just making it available for all the masses. And I think it'll just keep growing and going up and up in terms of audience once more people become aware of this type of content. The question mark I have is when you have that balance between the athletes, the real fighters that maybe don't have the stardom, the marketability like a Paul and Tyson fight, and are just good athletes that maybe are a bit behind the scenes, that aren't just as familiar for those that aren't passionate boxing fans. Will they generate the audiences they deserve? Because if they don't, the risk for me is that the money will still going to those people that are built around entertainment, the entertainment factor, and not the best stars in the sport. And that is the risky outcome here. But overall, it's got a huge opportunity to disrupt because of the sheer massive audiences this can bring to the boxing stage, which has been reducing in size for some time.